Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. My name is Temi and I share content along the lines of personal development and self-improvement content. Thank you for joining me once again. I will be doing a new series called the Faith series, which I'm super duper excited about. We are going to be talking about all things faith, from a biblical perspective, of course, because I am a Christian. And I'm just really excited about this. You know, last year I did a lot of different content and different series on this channel, and it was very much from the perspective of leveling up and, you know, supporting us all on that journey to leveling up and achieving our goals and just smashing it. And so I thought, why not come back with a new series called the Faith series? Just something that I really felt like was quite organic, is quite organic for me to do. I've been spending a lot of time recently with God and just gleaning and just really focusing on God and on the Word of God. And so it just made a lot of sense for me to continue and do a faith series. Definitely do not forget to like, subscribe and share this channel. And let's get straight into it. I feel like the weather right now in the UK is super duper stunning, and it just made me feel really happy. And I thought, you know what, let me wear a nice summer dress and come and shoot a new video, do some content. But anyway, guys, on this video or on this topic, we are going to be exploring the idea of mindset and how mindset really does matter when we think about faith and achieving things that we've never achieved before, or doing things that we've never done before. I really do believe, and I know that a lot of us probably will know this, that we can only go as far as our minds will permit us. And so mindset and breaking mental barriers is something that I have a lot of experience, having coached a lot of people and having supported a lot of people through difficult and different life transitions. I really do believe that I am in a good position to talk about mindset. You know, we all go through seasons in our lives where our mind is challenged. And if we think about it, even from a biblical perspective, we know that Satan or the enemy is after our minds. And there's a lot of people that have gone through difficult seasons recently. And if we think about it, it's all stemming back to how we think. I always say that it's not necessarily what we go through, but it's how we perceive what we're going through. It's not necessarily the issue, but it's how you perceive the issue that you're going through. What methods do you use to, I suppose, to process, you know, what you've gone through or what you're going through? And that can actually make the difference as to whether you break out and move forward, or whether you're actually limited in a season or in a transitional period. So I feel like I've said a lot already, but in this video I actually wanted to start with kind of like a background as to how I personally got into personal development and how my mindset was, I suppose, shaped and formed. I know that I have a very unique mind, and I really do believe that that came from the fact that I study psychology. I don't know if many people know this. A lot of people know that I'm a qualified occupational therapist today, but at one point my plan was to become a clinical psychologist. And so I actually studied psychology as an undergraduate. And honestly, I remember studying and just getting A's and really smashing it. And my psychology teacher at the time, she said that, do you know what, Temi, you're never ever going to think the same way ever again. Like, psychology will really change your mindset. And actually she was completely right. I remember my teacher was called Mrs. Jordan. She was absolutely fantastic, and absolutely she was completely right. I felt like psychology really did change how I perceived the world, how I perceived the people around me, and also guys, how I suppose understand why people do the things that they do. But on top of all of that, I've also grown up with a father who was super duper big in personal development. My dad would take me to these big property seminars, these wealth dragon seminars, And he basically put me in a room filled with property gurus, millionaires, trading gurus, all sorts of business moguls. And that was another factor for how I started to have a different mindset. I feel like if I didn't study psychology and if I wasn't in the room or in these rooms that I was fortunate enough to be invited in, because a lot of them were quite expensive programs to be on, that my dad kind of gave me access to, you know, really great property and business gurus, I would say, I probably wouldn't have the mindset that I have today. And obviously it's been through also scriptures and also being a Christian. I think all of these things, all of these facets have helped to frame my mindset in a particular way. And what I'm saying is that your mindset is super duper important when we think about faith. One of the scriptures that I love so much in the Bible is without faith, it is impossible to please God, which means that our faith is something that God sees as commendable. It's something that God actually really, you know, is pleased when we have faith. And even if we have faith that is as tiny as a mustard seed, that faith still counts and that faith still matters. And really, when we think about like leveling up, achieving goals, getting anything that you really want in life, it's going to come through faith. If you think about it, faith is the vehicle through which, you know, we all navigate life. Everything that we have today, even the things that we buy from big brands or the things that we have in our wish list to buy, everything that we see today that is even man-made came through the vehicle of faith, because you have to have faith to even create a brand. You have to have faith to even create a product, to even hope that people are going to buy it. And so everything that we see in the world at some point was somebody's little mustard seed of faith that actually produced something concrete. And so I do believe that in order to better your life, in order to redesign your life, in order to achieve your goals, achieve your dreams, or just get out of a particular place of where you are in your life at the moment, it really does take faith. It doesn't matter whatever you're going through. Faith is the vehicle to, you know, getting through it. And so, yeah, I believe that mindset and faith really do go hand in hand. I believe that faith is a positioning in terms of your belief. So I do believe that you have to, you know, believe that whatever it is that you're waiting for is going to happen. But I also do believe that there's a specific mindset that is connected to faith. If you think about it, why is it that certain people that have like a positive mindset end up in a positive, you know, like position, let's just say? Like, why is it that certain people that have certain mindsets that seem to be more optimistic or seem to be more positive end up always in positive situations? It doesn't mean that they don't go through hard times, but they just seem to always get through difficult times and end up in a positive like space in their lives. And I really do believe that faith and mindset go hand in hand. And I do believe that, yeah, you really do have to have a mindset, you know, because I've come across people that no matter how hard you coach and no matter how hard you inspire and you spend time and effort and energy trying to, you know, help them to believe that actually this thing is possible and is tangible for them, some people just don't have the mindset to believe. They don't have the belief, and also their minds. Some people want to believe it, but their minds are they just don't have that capacity. And so this is why I believe that mindset really matters. If you have a mindset that is conducive to believe things that maybe the intangible things that you can't see, or things that seem really difficult, but I really need a drink. I need a drink, my mouth is really dry. But yeah, if you have a mindset that is conducive to believing that the things that you can't see at the moment, but you want to see manifest in your life, if you have a mindset that is conducive to believing those things, then that's really what will actually manifest in your life. I really do believe that our lives are basically built on the image we have of ourselves, and our lives are built on the images we believe about our lives. So if you think about it, why is it, going back to the analogy of what I was saying, is that some people are super positive and it doesn't matter what you put them through, they will always come out and they will always be positive and they will always be happy. I don't know why, but I've come across people like this before, and they are actually, they're such a blessing to be around. And you come across other people and it's like you can spend hours, you can spend energy, you can spend time, you can spend effort, but they just don't believe that, you know, the thing that they actually want is tangible and is real for themselves. And I think that this is coming down to mindset, guys. I can't specify, I can't say it enough. I just really strongly believe that mindset and faith are super duper linked, and that, you know, if you really want to change your situation, your circumstance, you know, your life, it is linked to your mindset and it's linked to your belief. You know, one thing that for anyone who's gone through therapy, anyone who's gone through, let's say, CBT, which is cognitive behavioral therapy, you'll find that in that form of therapy, they look into thoughts, feelings, and behaviors. Okay, so when we think about somebody who's super negative, or someone who's gone through trauma, or someone who's gone through a really difficult time in their lives, and they go through this form of cognitive behavioral therapy treatment, the therapist will put them through a process where they have to change their thoughts and their feelings and their behaviors to reframe their mind so that they're actually able to have a healthier perspective, which will then lead to a new thought, a new behavior, and a new action, and a new feeling. And so, you know, when we have new thoughts, when we have new feelings, when we have new behaviors, it then gives us more of I would say, space to have more of a healthier, you know, belief and faith for more positive thoughts and feelings and behaviors to come in. So I generally think that, you know, faith and mindset are linked. And I think that, you know, the more positive, the more we can challenge ourselves to having healthier thoughts, to having healthier beliefs, to having a healthier mindset, the more we will be able to practice faith in. I believe that faith is an action. I believe that faith is, you know, I feel like for a long time, especially if you've gone to certain sort of churches, like I've been brought up in certain types of churches, it feels like faith is just something that you just believe. But I think that faith, we could go one step further and say that faith is actually an action. It's a doing, it's a daily work, it's a daily thing. You know, we have to have faith daily. We have to believe in what we want to see. We have to kind of put action behind what we're hoping for, rather than just believing. We have to have a mindset. You know, a lot of people, you know, say they have faith, but when, you know, a situation, you know, presents itself where they can demonstrate faith, they might not be able to demonstrate that faith that they say that they have. And so faith is something that we are able to do. We're able to go after. We're able to believe and have an action behind it. And I think the more that we see faith that way, we will have more of a mindset that is less passive and is more proactive in actually, you know, going after our dreams and our goals, and being proactive towards, you know, the things that we want to see manifest in our lives. And look, this is just my own 2 cents. This is just what I think and what I believe and what I've observed through coaching. And I've worked in a variety of different mental health, you know, spaces, clinics, services. And so I really do believe, you know, that there has to be an action behind what you are wanting to see. And I think that faith, the more we see faith as a doing word, and as a word where we are, you know, responsible for what we're believing for, the more we'll actually see more tangible results. So guys, this is the end of this video. I wanted to kind of, you know, bring the mindset perspective to faith, because I believe that mindset is a big proponent of faith. The first video in this little series, make sure you check it out. It was on the fact that 2025 is, I believe personally, a year of rest, and I go into what that means. So if you haven't checked it out, I'll link it up below. I'll link it up above, so you can have a look and just glean from what I feel that God was, you know, telling me. I am interested to see if there's any other topics that you want me to cover, either in this series or just for a new series in general. Yeah, let me know guys, and I will see you in another video on the faith series. Until then, bye.